We are live. All right. Well, let's see here who all we get tonight on this Memorial Day, where we're going to honor not only those that did not come back from war, but also going to honor Phil Robinson. As most of y'all know, he passed away yesterday, May 25th. And he's 79 years old. I mean, the man lived a good life. Hey guys, what's going on? If you're new to this channel, please do me a favor, leave a comment, let me know who you are, where you're from, that kind of stuff. We're going to be going back and forth talking about Phil Robinson. I have some personal experiences with him. Hey Riley, you wanting to come up? Yep, there you are. There's the in the chat room, there's a link. Just grab a hold of that. I don't know if you need to download it or not. You might just be able to click the link and come on in. See what happens. Hey Mark, how you doing? I can't remember, Riley. It's been so long since I've had somebody to come on. I don't think you need to. I think you just click the link. It takes it to you, and you open it up. There you are. There you are. Can you hear me?
Hey,
okay?
Matt.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, cool. I'm on a new computer, Riley. This is a Mac, and I'm not used to it.
Yes.
The bank. Jay, about just a little bit up, there's the link. Do you see it? And click the link. Come on in. Well, that's good, Mark. I'm gonna once Jay gets in here, I'm gonna introduce everybody. Rick, how you doing? That's good, Mark. Waiting for Jay to click in. He's probably got one of his youngins to help him do it. There he is. There he is. All right. All right. I just started, so let me start all over here, and then I'm gonna introduce you guys. Guys, we're here tonight. I was not going to do a live stream tonight because of Memorial Day, and I figured everybody would be with their families and doing barbecues and what have you. But as we all know, Phil Robinson passed away yesterday. I know myself that Phil meant a lot to me. Just on his videos, his calling techniques. I had the privilege of meeting him and hunting with him. So tonight we're going to not only honor those that did not come home from war, but we're also going to honor Phil Robinson's life. And my guest tonight, which I have not had guest in a long time, is my very good friend down at the bottom, Jay Binknell from the Binknell Bunch. Jay and his family, his boys, were basically my first subscribers. And the day that Jay called me out of the blue to introduce himself was a thrill on its own. And I ultimately got to go turkey hunting with him, which he made me climb up Mount Sarabachi. We went on a few duck hunts together where we killed a lot of ducks. We took some wounded warriors out. We had a really good time. So everybody down below is Jay Binknell. My next guest also is Riley from Rollo Game Calls. I met Riley. I always call him Rollo. I'm sorry, Riley. I don't know, 3-4 years ago. We were talking about duck calls. He is a duck call maker. I got one of his here somewhere. I have to go and search for it. And I was ended up on his podcast one time. It was the very first time I was invited to a podcast. I was really excited. I probably sounded like an idiot, but me and Riley have had a friendship. You know, it's like everything else. That we'll talk for like a month solid, and then we don't hear from each other for 6-8 months. But he's still a good friend. He's a duck call maker. So I asked these two guys to come with us, come in here tonight, and let's talk about Phil. But before we start, I'm going to ask Jay to say a few things and give us a prayer in light of Phil Robinson passing and being that it's Memorial Day.
Can you hear me all right?
Yes, sir. I can hear you fine.
All right. Well, let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, just thank you for this wonderful day, and just want to raise up all the people that gave the ultimate sacrifice in the name of freedom, dear Lord, so we can do this kind of thing we're doing here. It's just because the soldiers that we have the freedom we do, dear Lord. And as we honor Phil Robertson here, he was just a man of God, and it is awesome to see his testimony through the years, and it's really inspired me, dear Lord. And we just want to lift his family up and this time and the loss and then all the people that he has touched their lives over the years. In your precious and holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Jay. I appreciate that.
Hey, you like this hat?
Boxy is in here, and so is Cody from After 5 Outdoors.
I ain't talked to Cody in forever.
I'm telling Boxy, do you want to come up? Just tell me yes or no. Cody, if you want to come up, you can. I'll try to get you up. I might only be able to put 4 in here. I can't remember. Just say yes or no, and then I'll send you something. My first question is going to go to. I didn't even recognize Jay.
Getting a little gray.
My first question is going to be to Riley. As a duck call maker yourself, where did you hear about Phil Robinson? Where did you come across that? Just give us a little bit about you and maybe some influences he had on your life.
Well, if you don't mind, Matt, I actually have my podcast recording, so I may record some of this onto my podcast if that's okay.
That's fine.
So yesterday was so surreal. It was so weird. My friend contacted me. He said, "Hey, for some reason you left some duck calls in my car 4 years ago. I just found them. I hadn't driven this car in a while. Do you want your calls back?" I was like, "Of course." And so I was like, what calls would he have? And they were some of my original duck commanders, plastic duck commanders. So here he is giving me a duck commander call that was missing for 4 years. And then I found out that Phil had passed on. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. But the first calls I ever got were for Christmas, and everyone was watching Duck Dynasty. And my first calls were a triple thread, an Uncle Si, and a double pick, duck picker, double reed. And that's, and that was what started the duck hunting obsession. And then, of course, later I became a call maker and then really dove into the style of what Phil was doing and kind of the history behind that a lot of people don't know about.
Awesome. Jay, same question, but brother.
Well, I didn't get into duck hunting until probably the mid-90s, somewhere in there. When I was in college, and I can remember watching, getting into the duck hunting stuff and watching the, Duck Commander on the VHS tapes. So
right,
it's been a while. And then fast forward, they had like Duck Commander, the show on, I think it was the Outdoor Channel or the Sportsman Channel or something. And Phil shared a lot of his testimony through that. And, like yesterday when he, I come in and my wife had said, "Hey, Phil Robertson passed away." And my first thoughts was, man, he was a man of God and he is walking the streets of glory right now and he's in heaven. And he's actually been influenced me because, I've kind of strayed away a little bit from YouTube and our Facebook started taking off. And I actually use that kind of like a ministry and Phil, he was very outspoken, on his beliefs and that's inspired me. I try to do the same thing and he's been a big inspiration, watching him and how even when he hit super fame, he didn't back down from his beliefs. And that's just encouraging.
Yeah. I guess it was the mid to late 80s. And a buddy of mine approached me, real good friend of mine. We duck hunted for years together. And he called me up and said, "Hey, are you I was a police officer at the time. And he said, "Are you going to be working tonight?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Swing by the house. I got something in the mail I want to show you." So I went by his house and he's all excited. And he said, "Have you ever heard of a Phil Robertson?" And I said, "Nope. I have no idea who this guy is." He says, "Man, I've got a tape. The VHS tape came in the mail this morning. He's a duck hunter, and I thought we would watch it together." And I said, "Okay." Now, the town I live in at the time was, now I'm not saying small, but, I could get away for hanging out somewhere for a while. And it was his very first video that he did with Warren Coco of Go Devil. And we watched that. It was brand new. I mean, this thing it was brand new. It just come out. Now, I had been duck hunting a lot longer than before then, but I told my buddy right then, I said, "You know what? One of these days, I'm going to do a show. One of these days, I'm going to do a show, and that's who I want to model after." Just the way they presented everything. "Hey, Charles, how you doing?" Because he gave reality. It was real duck hunting. Yeah, there were some theatrics in there. Of course, you got to have some of that, but there was realism there. There were times where they didn't shoot ducks. There were times that they did. And the way they talked to each other. And that's what I've tried to model my videos over, is how, the whole experience of duck hunting. Fast forward a few years, my dad came up to me, and for many of y'all know that my dad's an outdoor writer. And he said, "Hey, do you know this guy, Phil Robertson? Have you ever heard about him?" I said, "Well, yeah. I mean, he's got a great DVD VHS tape out." And he said, "Well, do you have it?" I said, "No, but I can get my hands on it." And I got it, and we watched it. And he says, "Well, how would you like to go to Louisiana and hunt with him?" And I said, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, come on, let's go hunt with him." And he said, "I'm gonna do a story on him." So I was able to go to Phil's house. I was able to go hunting with him in the big blind. I'm trying to see if I got pictures. A lot of y'all have seen these. Some of my regulars. I don't know how well you can see that, but that's the original Duck Commander.
Oh my gosh.
That is the original Duck Commander shop. It's still, as far as I know, it's still standing. You can sling a dead cat and never touch the wall, I think, in the backside of it. But that's the original one. I got a better one that has Duck Commander on it somewhere. I'll have to see if I can find it. but I got able to, like I said, hunt with him. Oh, here it is. Here's a better picture of it. And you can see right there, I believe it says home of Duck Commander or something like that. It's shaded by a tree, but that's where it's at. Oh goodness. Oh, here we are. Like I was saying earlier, I got to hunt in the original Duck Commander blind, which I call it. That was the big blind that they had all brushed up, and was able to hunt with him, my dad, Jace, the original Duck Commander crew, Red Dog Phillips, and those guys. We shot a limit of ducks. My story in this, and because I want to tell the stories too, and real, and then we'll go back to everybody else here in a second. But the first story in the duck blind was we had a flock of mallards come in, and I looked up and I saw a hen right in front of the blind, and she had a band on, and I cut her down, boys. I ain't gonna lie to nobody. I cut her down, and they retrieved the ducks. And Phil, I don't know if he was upset or what, but he said in a very gruff voice, which scared me to death, even though I was a police officer at the time, said, "Who shot this hen?" And I said, "I did." And he asked me, "So why did you shoot it?" I said, "Well, there's two reasons. First off, I never could tell the difference between a drake and a hen when I'm eating them. And number two, she's got jewelry on her. She's got a band on her." And he said that is correct. And there's the band right there. And that's it right there. That's the band I took. That was my first story with Phil. It was incredible. I got some more stuff, but I want y'all to talk as well. So back to you, Jay. You said earlier that Phil influenced you a lot in your faith, in the Christian faith, and your walk with the Lord. Was there anything else that he may have done, that whether watching videos or hearing him speak or doing anything that may have gave you that added push?
Yeah, one of the things I remember, talking about, because when I first got into duck hunting, you're listening to these guys call, and they're doing the kind of a competition call, and that's kind of what you were trying. I tried to imitate, because there was no duck hunters in my family. I just kind of fell into it because my wife wanted, I'd always run bird dogs, and my wife was wanting a lab and as a pet, and I seen a way for me to get to start duck hunting. And so, the calling style, you're not going to, he knew how to talk to ducks. That was one of the things, he made duck calls that that you would use. It wouldn't be that, highballing and all the stuff that you don't use. So that, and then one of the things that always sticks out, and I'll go back and watch, I watched that last week sometime, was when he shoots that deer that's going through the water. I swear, I think that was what just blew them up. It seemed like after that, I mean, I know they were growing, but it seemed like after that, I can remember everybody, all my friends, "Did you see that? Did you see that deer flip over?" And that seemed like and I ain't gonna lie, right here, I guess it influenced this right here a little bit too, because
yeah, I had to cut mine down for a wedding, so mine was getting there, but I had to trim it up for a wedding. Riley, how about yourself? As far as his prowess with the duck call, did that influence you into getting into call making, or trying to work that angle?
Oh, for sure. I mean, Phil Robertson, if you have a if you have the top 5 call makers of all time, he's going to be in it. I mean, and that's the thing, like, people look at Duck Commander and look at these plastic calls, but people forget that for 20 years he was cutting up cedar logs, he was cutting up cypress logs, he was cutting them up, air drying them. And the reason he did cedar is cedar has a 4-month turnaround. It can be dried in 4 months. So that's why he was making cedar inserts. And I mean, he's just what he was doing back then is just amazing. And people forget he tried to sell his design to Sure Shot. He tried to sell it to Falks. He tried to take it to Stuttgart, and everyone laughed at him. They were like, you cannot sell that call. It will never be marketable. It doesn't sound like what we're going for. And, and it was now, what people don't realize is he started cutting on Olds. He was cutting D2s back in the 70s. That's what started. And then he started making his own design. He actually took his design here is actually, it's the plastic, but that's a Catahoula design. So he took a design that was not well known. No one knew about it. Only 3 families in the country made them around Catahoula Lake. And he took that design and was like, I can make this more mainstream, and he was able to run with it. And so he's definitely one of my top influences, especially since I tried to do it like him. I tried to cut down the logs with the chainsaw. I mill them on a circular saw. I'm there from beginning to end. And I just love how, if you would have thrown him on a lathe 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, before the Alzheimer's really got heavy on him, I guarantee he could have still made him.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He, I mean, he took his call, like you said, he took him to Max, and I remember reading the story about it where they literally laughed him out of the store. And he would get in his truck, that old Mazda B5200, I believe it was, or whatever, and would drive all over the state and into Arkansas trying to sell calls. But going back to what Jay said about the deer flip, while we were there, and again, I got to meet, the only person I did not meet was, I don't recall meeting Jeff. I met Willie. I met Alan. Alan and myself are the same age. I think we're 3 months apart. Jace is about 5 years younger than I am, and Willie's 10 or so. Jeff was just a little thing. I don't recall meeting him at all. I got to meet Miss Kay. I got to eat her cooking. And I believe I was telling Jay earlier today, I do not know how those boys are as skinny as they are with her cooking. That woman can cook. But getting back to the deer flip, we were sitting, it was Sunday afternoon. When we arrived, we arrived kind of early. We got there about 11 o'clock in the afternoon, and he's told us, he said, there's nobody, just hang out in the yard. We'll be in church. Okay. Well, we weren't paying much attention at the time. What we should have done is pulled over and done something in Monroe or West Monroe or something, but we didn't. We went straight to his house. When he showed up, we go inside. We're drinking sweet tea, and he says, I got something on this TV I want to show y'all, and I just want your opinion on it. And he showed the deer flip. And this is before it was on video. And the first thing he said is, what are y'all? And I'm like, I'm like, oh my gosh, did you just do that? And he said, do you think I ought to leave it in? And I said, most certainly. He says, well, it's not duck hunting. And I said, listen, duck hunters hunt other stuff. True duck hunters will duck hunt when the duck season is in, but before duck season, or depending on what part of the country they live in, the duck season may be over or split. They're going to deer hunt. I'm telling you, they will love this. They will absolutely love this. And your lifestyle about fishing, fishing for Appaloosa cats with hoop nets, all this stuff is part of who you are. And people are going to want to watch it. Trust me, they're going to want to watch it. And so, Jay, I know that when everybody was going crazy over that deer, I got to see it first. And I actually kept my mouth shut until that video came out. I did not tell, me and my dad did not tell a soul. We promised him we wouldn't, and we didn't. And I got more stories from that hunting trip, but Jay, take it away. How did just keep going about Phil as much as you can?
Well, I think one of the things they've done too is Duck Dynasty kind of brought a lot of people into the hunting world. And I know there's a lot of duck hunters out there because we was in Arkansas and they were fussing, oh man, everybody wants to be a duck hunter, But, it probably brought some good light onto, duck hunting and how, duck hunters really care about what we're chasing. And so, yeah, I think it brought, on conservation, different things like that. It also brought some, light onto that. And then as far as, my career, like we're not in what you would call good duck country. I mean, we got to work for ducks. I mean, they don't just happen. And I think, we would, a lot of times, maybe the night before, we'd sit and watch some Phil Robertson, back in the day when we first started, and that'd get you fired up to go out and, shoot a few ducks. So, and, you were kind of, that was the motivator. I remember us setting up till midnight watching videos to get up at about 4 a.m. to go out and hunt, just to, get you fired up. So.
Right. Riley, whatever I mean, I know that you're a call maker. I know you're a duck hunter as well. I know you have a passion for Phil and his work. I believe we've all heard that. Anything, I mean, just try to keep it going. What else do you have? I mean, have you ever met the man? Did you ever have a chance to meet him?
That's the difference between me and you is I never got to meet him. I mean, the way I was introduced to duck hunting and the duck hunting world was through Duck Dynasty, and through duck calls. I'm watching these videos of these guys filing on tone boards. The one thing as a call maker, and I've talked to Wes Looney about this. I've talked to many of these call makers, and people tell us the same thing. And they say, maybe you're the next Phil Robertson. No, there will never be another Phil Robertson because he was the standard. He set the standard. If he wouldn't have done what he did, if it wasn't for Duck Dynasty making duck calls more mainstream, I wouldn't have a job right now making duck calls. That would not be non-existent. So I owe my my job as a call maker to Phil Robertson because he made him and his sons made duck call making mainstream. It brought them working on calls in the duck call shop that was in everyone's living room. So all of a sudden, everyone's like, what are these duck calls? What's duck hunting? So, I mean, and then some people get upset about and say that people try to say they ruined duck hunting, but I think that's far from the truth. They really helped out the sport, honestly.
Yeah, he was something. I mean, he comes from very humble beginnings. If memory serves me correctly, and if anybody wants to Google it, go ahead and correct me if I'm wrong. But I mean, he grew up. He was born, I understand, in a log cabin or a very old shack. his dad was always away working the oil fields. His mom, if y'all watched the movie, The Blind, The Blind, I believe it was called. His mom had some mental health issues, and he really was put out there to work for the family and get, even with Uncle Si and the others and his sisters, he was put out there to go to work. And well, he ended up being really good at football. And we all know the story, that he went to Louisiana Tech, and he was first string, and Terry Bradshaw was second string, which is crazy. Crazy how good he was. And then he gave it all up and, started teaching. Of course, his world got turned upside down right then and there. He fell hard into drinking and drugs from his autobiographies and everything I've read about him. And then he turned his life around and gave it to Christ. And then he went from there and became the man he is, he was. And he touched a lot of lives. I mean, touched a lot of lives. I never got to meet him again after this hunt that we had, but every time I heard he was in South Carolina, I tried to get over there, but he'd be gone by the time I got there. I did not keep up with him. It's not like we're close friends or anything, or we called each other. It was none of that. It was just that hunt. But that hunt taught me a lot, believe it or not. And even though I had been duck hunting prior to that, it just touched me. Just the way he did things, his outdoor life, the truth. Praise be Jesus. God bless all. Bless you too. I'm reading some of the comments, guys. So if you're not seeing the comments, I'm reading a few of them. Did I meet Si? No, I did not meet Si. He was not. I think he was still in the Army when I showed up somewhere. But the way he did things, the hunting and not just the duck hunting, but hunting in general, fishing in general, living off the land, going out catching catfish, catching crawfish, these kind of things. He was a complete outdoorsman. There's no question. And he brought that to us so we could watch it. And that's what I'm saying. He touched a lot of lives, not on the Christian faith, but as well as the outdoor life. Jay?
One of the things too is, he was always in camo and a big beard and all that. And I think you relate it to a lot of people on the Christian side of things, because you could take an old rough guy and see how his life was turned around, once he found Jesus and he started working on him. And you don't have to wear a suit and tie and all that stuff. You can, and I don't own a tie. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm in church every Sunday, not every time the door's open, but I don't own a tie. I don't own a suit. And because just like Phil, I want people, when they see me, it's like, well, man, look at him. Yeah, I can come in here, and that's something. I do got a friend who was going. He actually knew Phil. He knew the whole family. We deer hunted with him there a couple times, and he said that he was going through a dark time, and I mean, he was having it rough, and he went down there to visit, and I reckon that was when his life started turning around, because they were all witnessing to him and really working with him. And he did say Sadie, I think, was the one was speaking or talking or something she said, like it changed him. And he was in a real dark place. And that's what like changed him, or, changed
right.
his. I mean, you just
Riley?
look. I like listening to Chase.
Go ahead, Jay.
What's that?
I said, go ahead. I thought you'd quit. So
I was gonna say,
keep going.
You look at the legacy that he's left. It's pretty cool that he took a guy like, and I watched the movie, and I ain't gonna lie, man, I think there was dust in the movie theater because, man, my eyes were watering like crazy at the end of that thing. But you see where he was and where he's at now, and that's just inspiring. He took a guy who didn't have much of nothing, and then the best part was that I think that if he lost everything, he'd still been fine. He just hung out down there at the river. He didn't care. Didn't care that he had millions of dollars. That didn't matter.
Riley?
I have a question. Do you guys have the duck hunting term down there, the golden hour?
The golden hour?
Yeah.
I know what it refers to, but I've never heard anybody around here say it.
Really? No. What about you, Jay?
Not where I was at. Now, when I went and hunt in Canada, they called it happy hour up there, and that was like right at so we were in Lake Sinclair, and the ducks kind of stayed out on private ground. You could see them, but they were still in Lake Sinclair, even though it was private. And then everybody would line up. It's what they call happy hour, and then you pass shot. Now, that was a lot of years ago when I was up in Canada hunting. But now, as far as we really don't. I've not heard that term here.
So the duck hunting term up here is golden hour. And what that is whenever you have the sun at your back and you're in the marsh and you have the reeds, the sun will hit it and it'll turn gold around the time the ducks are moving. So about 8:45 to 9. And so that's when we're like, oh, it's golden hour. It's time to go. It's going to get pretty interesting. And today I was just thinking about it. I was like, you know what? Phil's enjoying his golden hour right now. You do all that scouting in life, you're prepping in life, and he's enjoying it. He's walking with Jesus and he's enjoying that golden hour right now. And there are so many people. I mean, the guy, I've heard stories of him baptizing so many people in his river right beside his house. So, I mean, yeah, he's enjoying quite the golden hour right now.
Oh yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Real quick, Cody from After 5 Outdoors typed, did you hear the story about his beard? He shaved it once and the women in the church started really paying attention to him. He never shaved again. Heard that in their podcast, Unashamed. So yeah, that's why I keep my beard so I don't get noticed. Randy Nettles typed in, I met Phil years ago at a show way before Duck Dynasty. Chris Bradley, hey Chris, how you doing? He still has his family over. Chris is a duck hunter from Arkansas. I had asked him if he wanted to step in on the panel tonight, but he's got family still over, so he won't be joining us. I'm sorry I interrupted you, Jay. So go ahead.
I'm good.
I may have to leave at some point, so if you
Sure.
have someone to take my spot, just whenever they're ready to pop in.
Okay. The other story, again, this hunting trip that I took with him lasted 3 days. 2 days at his big blind in Louisiana, and the last day, the second day we were hunting, there just wasn't a lot of ducks, even though we had shot some mallards. And for me, and haven't seen a lot of mallards because our ducks have pretty much left South Carolina, I was seeing a lot, but for him, it wasn't seeing that many. So he decided, he just looked at all of us and said, pack it up. We're leaving. We're going to Texas. And if you've never met Phil, when Phil gives an order, you follow it. You just follow it. And the next thing I know, we're back at his house. We're packing. And my dad said, are we going with you? You know, kind of like, I'm not. And Phil said, of course, get in your truck and let's go. And we left and we drove to Texas, to Eastland, Texas, to a fellow by the name of Benny Prince, who he had been on some of the later, the later Duck Commander videos. And we got into, it was like midnight when we got there. You crashed where you could find a spot. I mean, I was on the floor. I took my waders and rolled them up like a pillow and just laid down on top of them. But we hunted there, and the next morning we get up and we go to this little, what I call a playa lake, a little small pond, a little cattle pond. And we get there, and the Phil kept asking us, my dad, and asking me over and over and over, are you federal game wardens? If you're a federal game warden, you've got to tell us. And we kept saying no. And I said, I'm a police officer in my hometown. Here's my badge. It says detective. You know, I was a detective, but I'm not a federal game warden. I'm a police officer. And anyway, we were sitting there, and the mallards were pouring in, guys. I mean, this was like 15 minutes before shooting time. And the ducks were just dropping down right in front of us. I mean, like 5 feet in front of us. And I heard Phil say again, he called my dad by his first name, John, if you're a federal game warden, you've got to tell me. And my dad turned around and looked at him and said, I done told you once, I done told you twice. I'm not a federal game warden. He rears up, throws that gun to his shoulder, and he cuts loose on about 3 mallards, 15 minutes before shooting time. And Phil looks and goes, well, I guess you ain't. I kid you not. 17 minutes later, we had 25 mallard drakes on the water, bellied up. Now, there they are. And that's my lab. That's my old lab that retrieved them. Jace was laughing. I was laughing. How I killed anything, I don't know. We got the giggles. We couldn't stop. I know that Jace looked like he's rough and tough in the videos and all that stuff, but the boy's got a sense of humor like you wouldn't believe. We were laughing and giggling. You didn't need a duck call. While we had them, you just didn't need them. They were coming to that hole. But yeah, we ripped them. And somewhere amongst my junk, I have a shotgun shell, the box of shotgun shells, the top ripped off, where Phil gifted me those ducks. His ducks. Jace gifted the ducks to us. I got his name, address, license number, signature, the whole 9 yards, so that when we left, we wouldn't get in any trouble because somebody had gifted those ducks to us after the hunt. We drove to Arkansas with 4 limits of Texas mallards into Arkansas. But those are the guy was absolutely outstanding. A sense of humor like you would not believe. And some of y'all that may have met him at shows, and if he ever cut loose with you, you'll know what I'm talking about. The TV, just old gruff, long bearded country redneck, in the woods. Highly intelligent. The man could have done anything he wanted to do. Anything. That biscuit, Jeff Barris wrote down, whoever gets his biscuit maker is lucky. That is actually Mac Mac Owen or Owen Mac. Owen Mac. I can't remember how his name goes, but that's actually his biscuit maker, which I have one that looks just like it, but that's actually his. But there's the stories. I got all kinds of. I don't know how well you can see that, but the person in the foreground is my dad, and that's Phil in the back. I took that picture. Let's see here. I do want to show you that one. That's cool. Here's a better one. Can y'all see that okay?
Yep.
And Jace did not want me to take his picture. He did not want it. It had nothing to do with it. I think he thought it was going to take his soul away or something. I'm not sure. But Red Dog Phillips, and if y'all have seen him in the Duck Commander, I think in maybe a Dynasty show or may have been on YouTube or something. Here's a very young Red Dog Phillips.
Wow.
And that old Mallard right there is my hen. And if you really want something cool, at least in my opinion, it's cool. I think it's awesome. Here's a very young Daddy Duck.
Wow.
Oh.
Yes, that is me, gentlemen.
Look at that baby face. How old were you?
I was in my late 20s, maybe early 30s, maybe. I can't remember. I honestly cannot remember the year that we went up there and hunted. But yeah, there it is. If babyface, yeah, babyface. He's made, as you can tell, he's made a lasting impression with me. I know he's in a better place. I know he's in the place he wants to be. I know his family knows that he is where he wants to be. But I'm gonna miss him. I'm still gonna miss him.
It might have been on Unashamed. I can't remember when it was, but he said that he was gonna die, and do not cry and do not mourn, dance and be happy, because he knew where he was going to be at. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Yes, I had that in my notes, by the way.
Yeah. Was that on Unashamed? I think that's where it was at. It was on
Unashamed. Yeah.
No, Jace was talking to him.
So I'm going to ask you two guys the question. I'm also going to ask the question to the guys in the chat room. How many of y'all have watched every video and every episode, not only of Duck Dynasty, but Duck Commander? Benelli Presents Duck Commander. There was another one, Duck Commander something, and then there was Benelli Presents. The Duck Dynasty. I'm right here. Every episode I have on YouTube, I have a playlist. Sometimes I'll just turn my iPad on while I'm working, and I just run them. Just run the whole thing. He's and like you said earlier, Jay, Duck Dynasty, I know a lot of people didn't like it because they said that it put too many wannabes out there. But you know what? Somebody said something the other day in another live stream I was in. Well, no one's teaching these kids how to duck hunt anymore. So let them watch something. Yeah, sure, it's a little hokey sometimes on some of the things they do, but still, that's the reality of duck hunting. You got good days, you got bad days, you got have fun.
Yeah, I think too that maybe a lot of kids video games is taking over and nobody goes outdoors like our kids, and maybe that inspired some kids to maybe not duck hunt, just to get outdoors and uh, venture into that versus sitting and playing a video game all the time.
Well, being at Riley is a duck call maker, and I realized these two little black reacher duck calls. I'm sorry, the old raspy. These are the old raspy duck calls. Can y'all see those okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, again, my story with the Robertson family is at the time I was blowing calls made by Sonny Kirkpatrick.
Oh wow.
And I've got 5 of his calls up here, Riley, by the way. And Jace said, he came up to me and goes, do you blow our calls? And I said, no. He goes, why not? It was a matter of fact. Why not? And I said, well, I blow a Sonny Kirkpatrick call. And I love it. He said, so you like that raspy tone? I mean, he actually knew who Sonny was. And I said, yeah. And he said, well, come in here. So we go into the call room, which at the time was the old building out at Phil's house. And he built me these 2 calls. And we spent 20 minutes tuning these calls each to me. And I was outside blowing them, and my dad and Phil came out of the house. And Phil walked over and said, looked at my dad and said, this is your son, right? And my dad goes, yeah. He said, he's got the duck in him. And turned around and walked off. I'm in my late 20s, early 30s, and I got a man as prominent as, and again, Phil wasn't that big then. I mean, very few people knew about him. But when that man tells you got the duck in you, it kind of makes you feel, it gives you that I can do anything. But he built me these 2 calls. I was laughing later on that day about the wood duck call, and which I have a couple of them. And he said, well, they're in South Carolina. Y'all hunt a lot of wood ducks. I said, yes, sir, we do. He said, you ever called one? I said, yeah, I have with an old Primos wood duck call. And he said, well, this is why this is not on a lanyard. He hands me this, and this hadn't even been on the market yet. He hands me this and goes, try this out. And I fell in love with it. Riley, I know I got your wood duck call. I can't blow that thing to save my life. Sorry, brother. I have tried. I've blown my lungs out trying to do it, trying to get that sound. I can't get it.
Is that the tube?
The tube, yeah. I have tried. I have rearranged it. I've done everything I could. that day that you were blowing it through the phone when we were talking, I was like, I gotta have one, and I can't make it to sound.
Some people's lips are just perfect. I gave one to one of those calls to a kid the other day, and literally he was having it go. He was letting
he
it
went
rip
down
on it.
with it.
Yeah, so it just depends on the person.
Right. And what I'm getting at through all these calls is, and I always tell people when I'm teaching them how to call or talking to them about duck calls, you may have to go through a few duck calls to find the one that fits your air. Even John Goblin said the same thing on one of the shows one time where he said here we go, the triple threat. He said it's just too much. He said hey, and what are you doing there, mullet master? And I'm doing good, brother. Doing good. I'm glad you could join us. Even John Goblin said he goes, it don't fit my air. Well, it don't fit my air either, but I got one to try it. So I always tell people, you may have to go through several calls to find one that fits your air. This little wood duck call and 90% of what Phil built between him and Jace fits people. It's just one of those. I think it's the design that they have that it always fits. It's going to fit somebody. I mean, it's going to fit more than not, But
hey, Matt, before we get off here, just gonna give you a heads up. If you could get me his information, because I want to check out the calls. I mean, you can text me.
Let me get that call real quick.
Trying to see if I've got one available.
Oh, this is his mallard call. And Riley can explain more to you about it, but this is the powerhouse. And I'm going to tell you guys, when it comes to innovation, I got to give it to old Riley there, because I want to show you this reed. You're going to get I love this reed, guys. That is a brass reed. They call it the hammerhead, if I'm not mistaken.
Stainless steel.
A steel?
Yep. That is actually, I had to rename that call because after I branded the 3 of those calls, I was contacted by another call maker. So that's actually the Bad Mama Jamma now. But you have
Bad Mama Jamma. Okay.
But you have the only call that has the powerhouse on it. So
do I really? So I've got a collector's item.
Yeah.
But this thing, I can't do it justice. I have tried. I ain't gonna lie. Right there. But I will get you. Riley, are you on a computer or a phone?
I'm on my computer.
Can you see the comments?
I can. Can
you type in your information so people can get in contact? Yep.
Yeah, I'm trying to hold on.
And Jay, excuse me, guys. Jay, are you on a computer or a cell phone?
I'm on a cell phone.
So you can't see the comments?
I cannot.
Okay.
It won't let me get into the chat.
It won't?
Mm-mm. Hold on. Oh, nope. Let's try it again.
Where's that? Facebook. Where are y'all all at now? Mainly Facebook and Instagram, Jay?
Facebook is our big thing right now, so it's the Bicknell Bunch on Facebook. And we're getting ready to fire back up on YouTube. We kind of took, because the Facebook took off, and we kind of took a high. So.
Guys, I just posted in the comments the Bicknell Bunch, which is Jay and his family, on Facebook and YouTube. And
Yeah, thank you.
Rollo game calls, right?
Yep.
Rollo game calls. I am not even gonna try to spell your last name. H-E-N.
HENDRIXSON.
X-O-N.
Yeah.
I hope I got that right.
XSON.
I hope I just spelled that right. But I put it in the chat. You can't see it, can you, Jay?
What's that?
You can't see the chat at all. I will
No.
I will send you his information via text when we get off of
Cool.
here. And I know that
Yeah, I'll
y'all
get a hold of you, Jay.
there he goes. I still spelled it wrong. Or did I?
It's okay. Everyone misspells it.
Sorry.
Hey, and we would appreciate, if you just jumped over on Facebook and give us a follow, because we're almost at 16,000. So,
All right, cool beans.
appreciate
Y'all didn't hear that. Jay's almost at 16,000 on Facebook, so jump over there and grab a hold of him. Riley, you're on YouTube?
I am on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. I am everywhere.
You're everywhere. Okay.
Rylo, RYLOH, and it'll take you somewhere.
Yeah. Guys that are in the chat, please go follow these two guys. I know they got things they got to do this afternoon. I'm still going to be on here for a little bit longer. Y'all hang out as long as you want. I'm not running anybody off.
Hey, Matt.
Yep.
Just, I know we're talking about Phil, but since you were a Sonny Kirkpatrick fan,
yes,
I got a big. I got something big to tell you, but it's a secret, so I'll have to make sure to message me and ask about the secret, because I'll only tell you. But it has something to do with Sonny Kirkpatrick, and I think you would love it.
Hang on 1 second.
So on Facebook, is it Rilo Game Calls?
Rylo Game Calls, Rylo's Quack Chat, Riley Hendrickson. You can find me at there. I'll get with Matt. I'll get a hold of you. We'll chat.
Okay, sounds good, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm doing better. So there's two of his calls right there.
Mm-hmm.
Need a new cork on that one. That's still running good. But here are my prizes. And I know we're talking about Phil, but you mentioned Sonny. Here are two calls, and you'll see that they're named and dated. Sonny made these for my twin boys who passed away at birth. So, yeah. I've never hunted with them. I've never blown them. They will always just be in the family. But they're priced, in my opinion, they're priceless. So,
yep.
Hey, and just FYI, everybody that's listening here, you can take a mallard call, and if you do a real hard feeder chuckle, you can make them gobble.
Yes, you're the only man I've ever seen do it.
Okay.
Here is his little. This is Riley's little wood duck tube, and I'm not even going to try, brother. Every time I do it, it sounds like, it sounds like a wounded whistling duck that's been shot up way too many times.
Trying to see if I have any on hand. I usually do.
But that was his, because you had asked Jay to see his calls. So, but let's see here. M River said the first one with Coco in South Louisiana was awesome. I still own it. Yes, sir. I still do. I still have the VHS tapes. I have them all, and DVDs, all of them.
Yeah. Well, guys, I am gonna have to get out of here.
Yeah,
Not-
I'm at
Jay,
I'm
you
at
got to
my
leave
mother-
too?
Yeah, I'm at my mother-in-law's right now, so they're
Okay.
I visit a little bit,
I got you.
but
Um,
I would talk to you. You know, I get information.
I will give you a call. I'll probably give you a call tomorrow,
Okay.
sometime tomorrow, and get you that information. Raleigh, if you need any information from him, I'll text it to you. Just tell me what you need.
Yep. Yes, please. Send
and,
it all.
I'll get that information on these two guys for both of you. I would like to thank both y'all coming up tonight on this little honoring of Phil Robertson. I do appreciate it. Guys in the chat, I'm going to be here for a little bit. So if y'all want to hang out with me and just talk whatever you want to talk about, go right ahead. But Jay, would you do me another one big favor and just give us a prayer for the rest of for everybody in the rest of the week?
Heck yeah. Dear Heavenly Father, just thank you for this wonderful day. Thank you for getting us together and get to talk about Phil Robertson, who was a mighty man of God. Dear Lord, we know he's in heaven right now, and just thank you for us being able to be influenced by him, dear Lord, and go with us this week and just give us the words to say to the lost, dear Lord, and let's have that boldness like Phil did. In your precious and holy name we pray. Amen.
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 Again, guys, I appreciate it. Y'all can leave when you need to. Y'all have a great day.
See you.
Thank you. See you, Matt. See you, Jay.
See you, buddy. Thank you. All right. Well, the guys that are left in here, I appreciate y'all sticking around. I hope you enjoyed tonight. We're going to be here for just a few more minutes. If you have any questions or about my hunt with Phil or getting a hunt with him, getting to meet him, or any other general questions, feel free, ask in the chat. I'm trying to put duck calls up here so they don't fall down, get thrown around. I need a bigger desk is what I need. Hey, Craig, how you doing? No problem, buddy. We had Jay Binknell up here. I don't know if you saw him, but we had Jay in here from the Binknell bunch. We had Riley from Rilo's Game Calls, Quack Chat podcast and whatnot. He came in. We talked about Phil and us meeting him. Had a couple people in here who have met him. He was a very influential duck hunter, very influential man, not only in the Christian faith, but in the duck hunting world. And in my opinion, the outdoor world in general. I think what he did is he brought the average man into the duck hunting world. For many, many years, the duck hunting world was, I'm not saying the elite, but there was only high influential people that were doing it, really. And he brought the average guy into it and where you could go and kill ducks. Hey, Aaron, how you doing? Have you played around with the comp and choke 16 gauge turkey chokes at all? No, sir, I have not. I have not. I do not. I don't have any turkey tubes from comp and choke. I don't have any turkey tubes at all for the 16. I do for the 12. I have been shooting TSS for a while now, and I have found out I get better patterns with a more open choke than I do than shooting a turkey tube. That's just been my experience. So I hope y'all have had a great weekend. A lot of y'all have had maybe a 3 or 4 day weekend. I know we're talking about Phil and his passing yesterday, but let's not also forget what today is, Memorial Day, is where we honor all of those who did not make it home. That is for today. I know there's a lot of festivities. People get together and they have barbecues, and it's always a good time for that. But let's not forget the real reason for Memorial Day. And I'm still working. I hope y'all like this video a little bit better. The camera, I got a new computer, a little MacBook. To me, it looked better on my side. Let's see here. Who all's in here? Let's see here. We got Craig, Randy. Randy, you and Bentley still here? River, you in here? Mark, I think Boxy's already left. Well, since last Tuesday, got to go back to work tomorrow and don't want to. I hear you. Man, you've had a nice little vacation, dude. Y'all catch any more catfish? I know the river's up. Jeff's here. Cool. Yeah, Jeff, you had mentioned earlier you didn't think I was going to be on tonight. I wasn't planning on it, to be honest. I was just going to let everybody do their thing, Memorial Day and all that. Figured people would be visiting family and that kind of stuff. Until I found out yesterday that Phil had passed, and hey, Charles, glad you're still here. And I wanted to come live last night, but I got into some other live streams on other platforms where we were talking about Phil and things. And I made the decision, hey, I'm going to come out tonight, regular time. We're gonna honor Phil. A huge influence, like I said earlier, in the outdoor world, specifically duck hunting, call makers. You heard Riley say, he big influence on him. He is one of in my book, in the top 3 out of 5 call makers in the country. Very sad day, yes, sir. But he is in a place that is a lot better than here. As we said earlier, he actually said on Unashamed, he goes, one day I'm going to die. Don't cry for me. Don't mourn for me. Sing and dance. So we're going to honor him that way, but he will be missed. No ifs and buts about it. He will be missed. I doubt that any of his family will see this, but I want them to know that the few days that I spent with him duck hunting with him and my dad and Jace, it meant the world to me. It meant the world. Changed me in ways that I cannot imagine, that you cannot imagine. Charles, we've been having rain here off and on all day, all weekend, actually. It started Saturday night. It's off and on all day yesterday and all day today. Oh, what do we got here? Didn't set any hooks because we were having a bush hook tournament that night. We figured people would take our fish. I got you. Didn't set any hooks because we were having a bush. Okay, I got you. I got you. I have not set hooks in a long time, dude. I need to go back and I need to come down there and with you and do that. It's been just south and west of me, cool and cloudy here today. Yeah, it was cool yesterday. I think the high yesterday got up to like 65. Um, I didn't even look, other than it raining off and on all day. I didn't even look at the temps today. I pretty much stayed indoors. Okay, Jeff, take care of yourself, brother. Thanks for stopping by. I pretty much stayed indoors all day, watching old movies. Me and the wife. I did go out and cook some brats earlier. Had just me and her, but I did cook some brats earlier. But we've just been sitting there watching old movies. We set 29 hooks and 14 cats. Got 14 cats in a gar. Same here. It's killing my hips are off the chain. That rain got you, Craig? Don't worry. The heat's coming. The heat is on the way. It is, yeah, it's on the way. It'll be here by next month. By mid-month, by mid-June, it's going to hit. And oh, my goodness. Other than that, really don't. I mean, I know I haven't been on live in a while, but not much has been going on other than work. I will, Randy. I still got about 9 more bags of mulch to put out. That's on my trailer, and as soon as I can get it, as soon as it quits raining, I'm gonna put it out, and then I'm gonna bring that over to you, and we're gonna start working on that. But not much has been going on. Other than pulled the trigger on this new computer. I did, and I may put out a little short type video or something. But I did pick up one of these little POV cameras. Y'all seen these? And it came with a cool little waterproof case. And this is now the bougie cam. I have a harness for bougie, and I can put this in there, and y'all can see what she's looking at now. So that's going to be the new bougie cam that's going to be coming out. We did some training the other day, and I used it for the first time. Of course, you got to always remember that she's running and the camera's going up and down, so it's kind of distracting. But It does pretty good. It gets some good little video there. Yeah, we got to figure this Papa Duck, Daddy Duck mobile blind. Vidra, how you doing? Welcome in. Yeah, I'm ready. I wanted to go somewhere today, but it was just raining. It just rained all weekend, and I wanted to get out. Maybe try it again a couple weeks. I know the next weekend is the end of the month. That's always my busiest weekend for work and whatnot. So I'm gonna be busy there. But I might be able to get there on a Friday or something. Depends on what time you get off work. Show up Friday evening. Oh my goodness. What else do we got going? The geese have had a great breeding season. The ponds are loaded with little ones. Awesome. Of course, our luck, Craig, they'll be gone by the time September gets here. Those locals, man, they just move around. So what else? What have y'all been doing, man? What's been going on with you guys? I think we're about 4 inches below normal. We should get some in the next couple of days. Okay. Well, I just knocked all my duck calls over. I pulled them all out for tonight. All my duck commander calls. All my other ones. Puppies, and more puppies. Y'all got another litter coming? Let's see here. Already, she's had 8. You had 8 more puppies? Are you kidding me? I will do that later after work. I want to put out my Duck Dynasty gear for display in the man cave. I got you. Craig, I didn't realize y'all had another litter. Or maybe I missed it or thought it was the same litter. Wow. Randy, vacation at the beach last week, fished a little and been trying to get the pool clean. Well, what beach y'all go to, Randy? Oh, I didn't know you got a new female. I did not know. Is this are they sired by Red? Y'all, if y'all are in the lookout for a new hunting partner, you need to get a hold of Craig. Got I think he's got 1 or 2 left out of the other litter, and now he just had 8 more. So give them about 8 weeks. They'll be ready. Oh, y'all went to Merle's Inlet? I think Merle's Inlet, other than the for the South Carolina coast, I think Merle Inlet has the best seafood. Merle's Inlet or either McClellanville, one or the other. But I think Merle's Inlet has some of the best seafood restaurants out there on the East Coast, on the South Carolina coast, I should say. Yeah, Vitra, I don't know how long you've been in here, but we were talking about Phil. I had the great pleasure and opportunity to hunt with him many, many years ago. I was showing some pictures, duck calls that they had made, that they gave me. So if you have any questions or anything, please feel free to ask. I don't know how long you've been in here that was listening. I don't know who all is in here unless they comment something. So let's see here. There's one thing I don't like about 10 or 15 minutes so far. Okay. One of the things I don't like about the YouTube live streams or the StreamYard that I have is I don't know I mean, I know how many are in here. I can tell you how the number is, but like, let's say TikTok live, when someone enters the live, the chat scrolls up and you can actually see who comes in. So I don't know who, unless you say something, I have no idea. But just for you, since you hadn't been here in a while, there's Phil's big blind. Took that picture from the boat going in. He's doing okay, Craig. He's still not able to move as much as he wants to, but we do get him to the gun range 2 or 3 times, at least twice a week, and we let him shoot. He's doing man can still outshoot me. I'm just saying it. And he's still writing. He's got a new book coming out soon. There's the original call room, so to speak. That is where the calls were first made. That's right there at Phil's house. Shop right behind, actually in front of the house. Trying to find that really good picture. There's Phil and my dad. My dad's in the foreground. Phil's in the background. During that hunt, we decided to actually Phil decided to go to Texas. So we loaded up and we drove to Texas, went to hunted with Benny Prince in Eastland, Texas. We only hunted there one day. We shot that morning, we shot 25 mallard greenheads in about 17 minutes. There was no filming. There was no pictures there. It was just shooting. But there's the aftermath, and that's my lab in the background. Well, there's a 25 mallards right there. If you remember the original Duckman crew, Mac Owen, Burr, Red Dog Phillips, W.E. Red Dog Phillips. Here's a very young Red Dog. All right, Randy, thanks for coming in, buddy. Tell Bentley I said hello. This is a very young Red Dog. And there's a very young Daddy Duck. Another picture of my dad and Phil talking. I can't. There we go. For some of those that haven't seen it, here's the two old Raspies that Jace built for me that on that hunting trip. Tuned them to me. Had them on my lanyard for many, 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 many years. Right before Phil released this, he gave me one, which is the old wood duck call. Not a problem, brother. That's we're here honoring him. One of the original Mount Drake calls before they turned it into that dark green plastic. They had the light green ones. One of the original Gadwall calls. We've got the pintail whistle on one end and a regular duck call on the other. That's big old monstrosity, but yeah, I still got it. What else? And what I still have on my lanyard. Old pintail widgeon. You can do mallard drake on it. Teal call. The hen teal call. The new version of the Gadwall call. And of course, this wood duck call is one he gave me. That's why, and of course, this was all he did. I mean, he didn't package it; he just handed it to me. And then I've got this one that I keep on my lanyard all the time. My other calls. Yeah, I may. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about this year doing nothing but duck commander calls this year. All right, Charles, listen, I appreciate you coming in, buddy. Thanks so much. Appreciate that. Craig, I still got my calls from him. I love them. Yeah, I may switch my calls out this year and run nothing but just to honor him. We'll see. We'll see. I ain't promising anything, but we'll see. Because I do like my cut down calls. And of course, I got the old duck picker. And I got the triple threat. That's about all. Oh yeah. I got if I can find it. This is one of Jace's calls. Still in the Duck Commander line, but it's one of his Pro Series duck calls. You take care, Charles. You have a great week, man. Be careful out there. Oh, yeah, Greg, I know. I've hunted with you enough. I know what's on your lanyard. My goose call, what am I running on my, I'm trying to remember the guy's name. My mind went blank. I'll think of it in a little bit. Golly. You might switch up Duck Commander once in a while. So many callers there. Oh, yeah, I have. This is my lanyard. This is, and I collect calls too. So, I collect a lot of calls. I got more on the wall over here. I got a bunch of calls. I probably got another, I don't know, 40 or 50 up there from different people. But I do blow a lot of cut downs. I got 2 cut downs here. One's a Kurt McCulloch, and the other, that one is a Kurt McCulloch cut down, which I do love. And this is the Outlaw. And then this is made by Daryl Newman from the Waterfowl Company here in South Carolina. And that's the WMA cut right there. And it's a short barrel, and I mean, it sounds sweet. And I got a double reed made by Big Lake Calls here in South Carolina. Those are my 3 mallard calls that I have on here. A goose call, and the rest of everything else is Duck Commander on here. Oh my goodness. Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm gonna hate to have to go back to work myself tomorrow. It'll be a long week. You're gonna make the first season in October, you know where. My question is, can we get there? That's my question. I know where. I know how to get there. But can you get there? Are the roads there? The roads are good. We'll see. We will see. You do know that I am going to Minnesota in October. So it depend. It's going to depend on when I get back. It's really going to depend on when I get back, and honestly, how much money I got left over. Troy, what's going on? Oh, really, man? You know, I've always wanted to do that. I always wanted to jump that bank in that boat of mine. I mean, I got a place to stay up there. That's not a problem. But what we're just gonna have to. I might be able to get there for a hunt, maybe one hunt. Yeah, but you got to put in at that other place, right? That takes about 45 minutes boat ride from there. You can't put in the old ramp. I don't want to give too much out on here, but I know that I think you told me that the original ramp is closed, and you have to go to the other one, which is about a 45-minute boat ride. Well, is the water up so much that you can't? What about the campsite? Is the campsite underwater? Long ride around there. Yeah. Campsite's not underwater. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, what? Put a monkey wrench in the deal. Yeah, I know. What else is going on, guys? We got about 15 or so minutes, and I'm gonna call it a night. Any questions? Anything other than where I hunt? I'll tell you just about anything other than where I hunt. We just hope the water's still high when we get there during that time of the year, Craig. Oh gosh, sorry. That one caught me off guard. Sorry about that. They can't pump water. Oh, they can't? Okay. Because everything's so tore up down below. We I think this year, and I've told a lot of people here, the regulars that come in, I do got a trip to Minnesota. Too much stuff in the water. Got it. I do have a trip to Minnesota this year in October. I was hoping to go to Arkansas in September, but they've already announced a 9-day early teal season, and I'm not going to drive to Arkansas for a 9-day hunt for teal. I'm going to try it around here this year, see what happens, either hit the coast or on my home water, see what happens. We'll see what happens. But I am going to Minnesota in October, and I hope to go to Arkansas in January. Got a big hunt up there this year. A bunch of guys. We're all going to show up. Going to be hunting all over for about a week. We'll see how that plays out. The bad thing about Minnesota is I won't be able to take Bougie with me. The main reason, I mean, it's a 2-day drive, nonstop to get there, and I'm taking 3 days to get there. It's just going to be too much for her. But also, when I do get there, the guy I'm hunting with, a good friend of mine, Cody, he was in here earlier. He has a Belgium Malinois, and they are very jealous and very not other dog friendly, so to speak. And I do not want any trouble. I think it'd just be too much to handle. So I won't be taking Bougie to Minnesota, but I will take her to Arkansas. Most definitely. Let's see here. That's about it. That's as far as the trips. Then hunting around here, hunting local wood ducks and whatnot. Try to get up to North Carolina with Craig, maybe Charles. See what it's I have to play that one by ear this year. Just gonna have to play it by ear. I'm hoping. Yeah, we should have a good trip up there. The ducks will be young and dumb, so yeah, I think the trip will be good. Oh my goodness. What else we got going on? That's all I've got really. The off season, other than fishing a little bit, trying to. I've been working a lot. Been doing a lot of yard work this year. I have cut out a bunch of shrubbery around the house. Got that cut down to stumps and put stump killer in it. Trimmed up some trees around the house already, laid out about 41 so far, about 41 bags of mulch. I got 9 more bags to go, and it started raining on me, and I couldn't finish it up. So I'm waiting for the rain to stop so I can finish that up. Me and my brother David have got 3 days up there at the camping spot. Okay. All right. I've just never driven from the that other landing. I mean, I'm quite sure I could find it. It shouldn't be a problem, but I've never driven it or in a boat. I'd have to do that in the daytime, try to figure out where I'm at. Yeah, that's the only thing. I've never ridden a boat that way. I've always put it at short ramp, and now that it ain't there no more. But yeah, still working in the yard, working bougie. We've been doing a lot of work. Um, a lot of work. Um, most some of y'all in here know that she started to break at the gun. Uh, sometime first part of January is where she really started to break hard. Um, so we've been working on that. Um, blind retrieves, forced to pile retrieves, multiple retrieves. Um, I'm not looking for a I'm not looking for a field trial dog where she's got to go get this one first and then that one and then this one over here. That's not what I'm looking for. As long as she's picking them up, marking them and picking them up. Been doing that, that kind of stuff with her. She's coming back along. She's not breaking right now. She's jumping a little bit, but not coming off the stand. I got her in a dog blind now. I put the dog blind on top of the stand to hide her a little bit because I mean, let's face it, she's a white dog. She's around here somewhere. She's back here behind me. She's moping a little bit. She got a haircut today, so she's moping around. But she wants to, like I said, she was wanting to. As soon as the gun went off, she was out. She was gone. And we gotta stop that. Oh, very short. I put a short lead on her and hang on tight, tie her to a tree if I have to. But she's getting it. She's understanding it. Oh, that's about it. I did get a little video of her the other day with what I call the bougie cam. I got this little camera right here, and mounted it to her harness on her back. So y'all are gonna hopefully start seeing the bougie cam. So that ought to be pretty cool. Looks like we only got about 4 people left in here, so why don't we call it a night? Craig, thank you so much for coming in. I don't know who all's here, who's left in here. Shout out real quick who's left in. Y'all give me a quick shout out. I know Craig's in here. Who else? Like I said, we Vidra. Am I saying that right? Vidra. Am I saying that right? Please forgive me if I'm not. I'm bad at names. But y'all have a great night. Y'all take care of yourselves. Pray for the Robertson family. I know that you know, and they know that their dad is in a place he wants to be. We all know that, but still pray for him. There will be some grieving. So please Continue to pray for them. Draw. Okay. Also, pray for the families of the men and women of the U.S. military who did not make it home. Because this is their day. This is Memorial Day. It's the day we honor those who did not come home. So make sure that you give them a little prayer tonight. With all that said, y'all have a great week. Y'all take care of yourselves. Get outside. Get in the woods. Go walk around. Go fishing. Go do something. Anyway, y'all have a great one. Y'all take care of yourselves. And we will see y'all next time on Daddy Duck 365. Y'all have a good night.